Hey you guys, it's your girl Tanette Lachey and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you guys been doing okay. It's been a little while since I made a video. But today I want to talk to you guys about mental health. And when I say mental health, I'm talking about depression, anxiety, different things like that. And I will give you guys my personal experience and, hopefully I can give you some resources that will be able to help you out in your current struggle, whatever it may be. But today, I just wanted to bring awareness to that because I feel like this week a lot on Facebook, and I think because of the holidays are coming up, I know some people, if you ever had depression or you ever suffered from depression, you have a highs and lows. I call them peaks and valleys, whatever it may be, where you're fine, you're okay, and then it's something that triggers you. Might be the holidays, might be a birthday, might be a song you hear, just different things that trigger you to kind of get into a funk again. And here lately on Facebook, I've been seeing, and just social media in general, and just listening to people talk and people talking to me. A lot of people are suffering with that right now, and it probably has something to do with COVID. A lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people, fell behind on bills. A lot of people, and they still are trying to figure things out. And it's like this year has just been nonstop bad news. And so I think that has been affecting some people. And like I said, I've seen on social media people saying, they just want to end their life. They just can't take it anymore, and just so many different things. And I felt like I needed to speak out about it. I know I talked about it a little bit on one of my other videos, but I too did suffer from depression at an early age. I was, 8th grade, 9th grade, when my mama finally made me go to see somebody, to talk to somebody, because my depression, some days, it was hard for me to get out of bed. I wouldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. My sleep pattern was jacked up. I might sleep 2 hours and then I'm up for the rest of the day. And then other times I acted out of anger, and I would punch walls. I would, yell at people and cuss at people. And Lord bless my mama's soul, because I know I took her through it. And she was patient with me. She was kind. She never, passed any judgment. She would always ask me, Tanetta, are you okay? You can always talk to me, and just different things like that. And I just did not want to talk to her. And it finally came to a head. And she told me I had to go talk to somebody. And at first, it was more like an anger management thing. Because, like I said, I would throw fits. And, I know it took all my mama's power not to jump on me. Because when I sit back and think about it, I was a tyrant sometimes. Like, it was bad. And, so anyway, she set me up to see someone, and I started going to therapy. And at first when I went, I didn't want to talk to the lady. I think I went like 2 or 3 sessions, and I didn't say a word. And when I first went there, she told me that was okay. She said some people just, it takes them a few times to get warmed up, to the idea of going to see a therapist and getting help. And, it just took me a little while to get that in my mind that I was going to see somebody to get help. But once I finally opened up and I finally started talking to her and we started getting to the root of my issues, it really gave me a different mind frame. And since I wasn't sleeping, and since at the time I wasn't having suicidal thoughts, but I did have thoughts of hurting other people, she recommended me to go see a psychiatrist. And I went to go see the psychiatrist. She put me on sleeping pills, and they put me on, I can't remember, something that helped balance my emotions, so I wouldn't be so angry all the time or so sad or so, it wasn't too much of the quote-unquote bad emotions. And I just did not like how it made me feel. And I went to see the psychiatrist for like 3 to 6 months, and I sat on that medicine for like 3 to 6 months, and I did not like how it made me feel. So I sat down and talked to my mama. I talked to my therapist, and I just asked, could I come see her more and just drop the psychiatrist altogether. And once we decided to do that, it's like I just started getting better. And I seen her all throughout high school. I mean, I can remember all the way up until I graduated. I would go, to school. Sometimes my mom would set the appointments during the day, but most of the time, my therapist would work with my school schedule and my athletic schedule because she knew I played sports. So usually I was always the last patient she seen for the day. And I would go after school. I would go after practice. My mom would sit there, and they got to the point where I started opening up to my mama about some things that were going on with me. And I really, really believe that helped me a lot. And I know it's hard for people to say, I need help. But if you need help, you seriously, seriously, seriously need to call somebody, talk to somebody. The wonderful thing about the world today, we have this thing called Google. You can Google therapists, you can Google, services that can help you out. And if you do not have, insurance or whatever it may be, I feel like the place is called Phoenix Crisis Center or something like that. I'm gonna look it up again, and put the link below. They go off a sliding scale, so you pay whatever you can afford. If you can't afford anything, it's absolutely free. But they offer services for people with depression, anxiety, substance abuse, who's dealing with physical abuse, any type of abuse, sexual abuse. They help you, and they offer those services for little to nothing. And like I said, you really, really, really need to go talk to somebody, because taking a life isn't worth it. I remember I was just sitting back thinking when I was reading those posts, when people were talking about, suicide and how they just didn't want to be here anymore. It put me back in that mind frame of 5 years ago when I contemplated suicide. And I don't know if I feel like I told the story on past videos, but I'll briefly tell it again. Shortly after I had my daughter, I was suffering from postpartum depression. And when I talk about highs and lows, after I went to therapy in high school, I still battled, and I feel like everybody does, but I still battled those highs and lows, but I had the tools to cope with them from going to therapy. I would journal, I would try to paint, whatever release that, I needed. I would exercise. Sometimes I just found something that helped me release whatever emotion that I was feeling. If I needed to cry, I would cry and, let it be over and done with, instead of bottling things up inside. If I was angry and upset, I wouldn't go punch a wall, but I allowed myself to feel that emotion, process that emotion, and take a step back and see where I needed to go from there. So from the time I graduated when I was 18 up until I got pregnant when I was 22 and had her right before my 23rd birthday, 5 days before my 23rd birthday. But in between that 18 and 22, 23, I had highs and lows. And, I might go 6 months of being absolutely okay, and then something would trigger me, and I would get back into another low. And it wasn't a really, really bad low, I could still function. Before I really couldn't function, but I was still functioning with those lows. And so after I had my daughter, even before I had her, I had a toxic relationship with her dad, and I knew I wanted to get out. And when I decided to get out, it kind of, I don't know, I had mixed emotions about it. I knew that's what I had to do, but then I felt like I let my daughter down because I brought her into a situation that she had no control of. And I feel like I had all the control over, because you get to choose who you have your children with, you know. And so I put a lot of that burden on myself because I felt like I knew better. And so anyway, we broke up. She was 2 months old. I had absolutely, positively nothing. And I went back to my parents' house. And my papa was really sick. And it was like one thing after another. And then when she was 4 months old, 4 or 6 months old, that March, I had her in October, so that March, my granddaddy passed away. And if anybody knows me, or my brother or my sister or anybody, we're extremely close to my granddaddy. He watched us grow. He taught me how to ride a bike. You know, he went to all my games. He saved all my newspaper clippings when I would succeed academically, or excuse me, or in sports if I was doing good. He was like our number one. He was our number one supporter. And when we lost him, we all took it really, really hard. I think I took it the hardest because my daughter didn't get to meet him, because shortly after she was born, she might have met him once or twice, but shortly after she was born, he went right into the hospital, and he stayed there for months. And I can't remember what was going around. It was like the chicken flu. It was something crazy where I couldn't bring her into the hospital with me. And then I was kind of paranoid of going into the hospital and bringing something back to my baby. So for a little while, I wouldn't go. And every time he would wake up, they said he would ask about me. He would ask about her. So I kind of felt guilty. The time that I did waste. I did eventually get to go see him in the hospital. And then when they brought him home on hospice, he got to see her, and he got to, you know, kiss us both one last time, and that was the night before he passed away. So that was real heavy time for me, just seeing somebody who's always been so strong, you know, just to wither away like that. It just kind of hurt my feelings and hurt my heart, and I took it really, really hard. So on top of the postpartum I was battling, now I had lost my granddaddy, and I just was not in a good headspace. I was just existing, and I would function for my daughter, but it was hard to get out of bed. It was hard, you know, to do the things that I had to do for her. It took everything in me to pull myself out of bed every day, everything in me to, you know, just to do the things I needed to do. And I would say she was probably about 8 months old when I had contemplated suicide. My mom and them, because I had stopped going to church. Let me find my bottle of water. My voice is... my mom and them had gone to church for the day, for the morning, and I kind of knew what time they would be getting out, so I kind of tried to like plan it so Leilani wouldn't be by herself for a long amount of time. I fed her, I laid her down, and I was breastfeeding her at the time. I fed her, and I laid her down, and I walked to the kitchen, and I looked in the medicine cabinet, and I seen some medicine that I wanted to take. I didn't want, it to be a painful death. I didn't want, it to be dramatic. I was just going to take those pills and lay beside of her and go on to sleep and pass away. And the moment I opened up that first bottle, Leilani let out a scream, a cry. I have never, ever heard her cry like that, ever. And till this day, she's 5, she's about to be 6. I haven't heard her cry like that since that day. And when I heard that cry, I just dropped that bottle. I ran to the back and I held her and I kissed her. And I told her I loved her and I thanked her for saving me. And I just cried and I held her and I promised her I would never, ever leave her. And I was sitting back thinking, the other day, I was planning her birthday party and still am. But it would have been 5 years this past summer since my death. And that's just crazy to think about, that my daughter could have gone all this time without her mama over something so simple. And I'm glad that I didn't go through with it because I honestly I couldn't imagine what her life would be without me. And I really couldn't imagine, being here without her. She was sent to me for a reason. She has saved me. She has taught me so many things about love and about caring for others. And, if it wouldn't have been for her, I really, really wouldn't be the person that I am today. So when my mama made it home that day, I did not tell her what happened. I did tell her that come Monday morning, I was going to find me a therapist to go to because I was struggling and I didn't know how to deal with what I was dealing with. And she just said, okay. And she said she loved me and she hugged me. And I remember crying, and I just remember nothing but love and support from my mama and my family during that time. And I went to see that therapist for probably about 8 months. And I got everything back on track. I enrolled in school. I did the things that I needed to do, for Leilani, for myself. And it really, really did help me. And I just want people to know that, Indian life, isn't the answer. Depression is hard. Depression is real. Anxiety is real. I had all those things, combined. And I would sit up at night, and I still don't sleep as good, but it's, it's for other reasons. I think just now my body's just out of whack from staying up all those years. But I just want you to know that there are people out there that do want to help you. There are people out there that can help you. You just got to let them. And I know some people used to say or try to say that I was doing that for attention, and I'm not going to say who those people were. But if you have people like that in your life, just cut them out of your life because, like I said, that's a serious thing to go through, and to have people downplay your feelings, to downplay what you're experiencing. You don't need that in your life. You don't need that type of negativity in your life. You need people that's going to uplift you, that's going to, help you get through whatever it is that you need to get through. So like I said, I just want to tell people that is not the answer. And like I said, I will put in a link below that Phoenix Crisis Center information. Please go talk to somebody. Please let somebody help you. And please, 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 I mean, sometimes you can talk to family, sometimes you can't. But if you have somebody you can open up to, please open up to them, because you might think like you're alone and nobody cares, but they do care. You have family members that care about you. You have family members who love you. You have family members who want to see you here on this earth, and they want to see you prosper, and they want to see, you do everything you were sent here to do. And when you decide to end your life, you cut that destiny short. And like I said, it's nothing that's ever worth your life. Nothing is ever worth, taking somebody else's life, whatever it may be, whatever thoughts you are having. Those negative thoughts, it's not worth it. And like I said, if you need somebody to talk to, I'm going to put the link below. Please contact these people. I think they have a hotline. And like I said, they're on a sliding scale. That's not where I went to. I looked into it before I went there, but I had health insurance that covered me to go somewhere else. But I have heard great things, even from the lady I went to, about the Phoenix Crisis Center. But like I said, you're not alone. Please allow somebody to help you, and please do not make a split decision that you can never take back. But I hope you guys have a blessed day, and I hope you guys got something from my video. And again, if you need to reach out to me and talk, I can talk through via email or Facebook, if you call me on Facebook, anything like that, because I don't ever want to, hear that somebody took their life, and it could have been prevented. So I love you guys, and y'all stay blessed. Yeah, have a wonderful day.